I think the world needs this. Shout out to Twitter Spaces for giving us the platform to actually bring us together.
This is the beauty of having different voices in the room.
It's here. It's time. Catch us Thursday.
9 p.m. Eastern. Jody will probably roll up at like 9:05.
Blame Jody.
The tea is especially hot today. Welcome to the first episode of the Sports Tea Podcast. It is our honor and privilege to bring to you a specially curated blend of content. This podcast is dedicated to giving you the best thoughts, hot takes, and of course, tea. I am the one and only Meg Hall. If you don't know, now you know. And I'm joined by some wonderful ladies who will introduce themselves. First up, we got Lady E.
What's up, y'all? This your girl, Lady E, better known as E the Goddess. Y'all already know how it is representing that Atlanta. Shout out to them dirty birds. Rise up, baby.
Jody's already rolled her eyes. So, and now we have Jody.
Hey, y'all. Jody. She's Kingdom. That's really all I got.
Wow, that was so simple. Like, we had this, like, flowing, and Jody was like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's all I got. It's all I got. But I'm with you, Meg. I'm super excited to be here with y'all. This is like a crazy idea that came from nowhere, and we're here. We're just gonna rock this out all season long. So,
whoop whoop!
I can't wait. So, I mean, I guess we should just get right into this. Like, let's just get into this. Rise up, sure.
Yes, rise up.
Yeah,
baby.
Oh my God. All right, so yeah, let's just get right into this. So something that we're gonna do to intro our podcast every week is the tea hot or not? Is the tea hot or not? So I'm gonna ask Meg and E, what are y'all thoughts on certain topics happening right now in the NFL? Do y'all think that this is hot tea, or do y'all think this is not tea? Okay, so first topic. To pay DHop or to not pay DHop? That is the question.
Ooh, let's see. I'll be honest with you. It is hot tea right now. A lot of people are really speculating about where they're going because I'm hearing rumors that he's supposed to be over there with Chiefs Kingdom. So, I mean, you know, from my perspective, I really think that he should just take a vet minimum just to try it out again. He was suspended the season prior for 6 games. Come back, you know, you lose your starting quarterback. So let's see how he really does. Because again, we're so used to seeing him in Texans, you know, gear and playing against with Deshaun Watson. And, you know, he played a little bit with Kyler Murray, but let's see how he does with my homie. Let's see how he really does. So I can see that happening. But again, I'm looking at it for a vet minimum. I know he wants some MONEY, but baby, you want to take that vet minimum. We're going to see how you working right now.
My homeboy is crazy, by the way. That's why.
That's my homeboy.
I'm gonna say that this is not tea. I'm out on paying DHop. So his last full season was 2020. You've had back-to-back seasons of not playing that. You had 700 plus yards in 2022. I believe 500 plus in 2021. You're also 31 years old.
That's true.
31 years old. And, I mean, 31 years old is old in wide receiver.
Years.
Right?
Yeah. Like he's prime. Yeah.
I'm trolling.
And so the other thing is last season his cap number was like 15. I think it's 15.7 mil. So that's it's not high because I think the highest cap number is like 23, but that's high for an older wide receiver. I just can't see someone wanting to pay that number and or more. So if someone's going to bring him to any team, Chiefs or not, I would see him somewhere around like the 12, 13 range. Maybe even, you know, lower than that, they can get him to take that, you know, on a team-friendly deal. I just can't see someone throwing a bag at DHop now, knowing that he's on the older edge of his years, and you're not seeing that same production like you had in 2020 and before that.
So for me, I think the T is actually kind of high. Here's why. So DHop is this amazing receiver, right? I wouldn't call him elite yet, but he is this amazing receiver. We actually had a really long debate yesterday on what else does he need to do to be qualified as a Hall of Fame wide receiver. And of course, we already know that the Hall of Fame list for wide receivers is all the way backed up. Like, it's kind of like a year right for anybody who wants to be into the Hall of Fame right now as a receiver. But if DHop is this great catch, why hasn't he signed anywhere yet? I feel like between the Patriots, I feel like between Tennessee, I feel like somebody has offered him some decent money. At first I was originally like, well, maybe he's just waiting for money. But then I'm like, well, maybe he's waiting. Maybe he wants to win. But I mean, Buffalo, he went and visited them too, and nothing happened. And they're going to be a Super Bowl contender as much as I say it. So I don't know. And I will tell you that Brett Veach is not going to pay him. So if he's waiting on Kansas City, that's great. But we're not going to give him 10 or 11 or 12 million. That's not happening, especially it sounds like he's looking for a long-time deal. We would only give him a 1-year deal, being honest. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, training camp starts next week for a lot of teams. We'll see if he gets picked up between now and next week, but it might not happen until middle of training camp. So next question. More teams. Saquon Barkley.
Ooh, yes, we are hot, baby.
She didn't even let you finish the question. She's like, hold on, I got thoughts.
I got thoughts on this because this man just came out and said that the franchise tag is unacceptable. Baby,
so that was my question. Does he play franchise tag or does he play for the long-term bag?
No, he wants that long-term bag. And this kind of reminds me of that Dak Prescott situation of where he kind of had that with the Cowboys and had to go. I feel like they're going to get something done, probably training camp, like right before the season start. Because again, the thing is like Saquon Barkley, yes, I get it. The injuries are very questionable, but I mean, he played a full season and we saw what he can do with a full season. For the season. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I understand, everybody has that superstition like, hey, we give him the money, bam, he's hurt again. What's going on? No, I get that. Same thing. They were questioning the same thing about Dak. They even just questioned the same thing about Lamar, and he got the bag. The issue is that I believe that once he takes this is going to reset the running back market. And I think that the Giants don't want to be that team to reset that market at a high price. Yeah, exactly. Don't be the Browns. That's the thing. And I think that's why they're really treading very lightly here. But in the same token, pay the man. Just pay the man. Like, again, running backs, they don't have a long life shelf. And we can see Zeke is a free agent. So we all know by the time you turn 26, baby, that's it. You better be lucky if you get a second or a third contract after that. So I do feel that they just need to go ahead and take that risk. But he already made it known and made it clear. Don't expect me to don't see me on the field this year. Y'all won't see me on the field. Y'all keep playing with me. Y'all won't see me.
It's the long
I'm going to say it's hot tea, and I'm only going to say it's hot tea because I have a running back that also needs to get paid, and that's Mr. Jonathan Taylor. Yeah. So I think JT is also waiting to see what Saquon does because that can dictate how much money he gets. The thing to keep in mind is that the franchise tag number is actually not that high for running backs. It's only 10 mil. So I think at this point, that's probably why Saquon is like, absolutely not. Like, I want my money. The thing I think that could only keep him happy is if they give him the franchise tag, but they assure him that a deal will get done and then take steps to do that. Now, again, he says it's unacceptable. We've seen players say that, and then they still show up, to games. Yeah. Like, I can't see him missing multiple games because that's his game checks right there. And that's going to add up. So it's not like he's going to go, and at least in my opinion, until like week 6 before he finally decides to show up. But I can't see that. But I think the Giants got a real problem on their hand because he is now, he's putting that production out like what he had in 2018. He had 1,300 yards in 2018. I think 1,000 yards in 2019. He had some, not great seasons in between, but then he put up 1,300 yards last season, and I think it was let me see what the number of touchdowns here in my little notes here, but the thing I was thinking I was mainly focusing on was the yardage, because that is what he's been lacking. So I think for the Giants, they got a real situation on their hands. And the thing is, there's not that many quality top shelf, what I would consider quality running backs left in the league. Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor and Saquon are probably all up in that conversation. He wants to be paid like that. And I can't say I blame him. But I think, again, it's I'm kind of waiting to see what he does, because then I wonder, like, okay, well, what is JT going to want based upon Saquon's deal? So, and even if JT's deal miraculously gets done before Saquon's going to be like, okay, you saw that, right? Like, pay me my money.
Well, and I think that's exactly what's happening. I think the T is very high, because the running back market is so particular right now. You guys have a running back who you need to pay as well. There's a ton of running backs that actually still need to be paid. And training camp is next week. I just want to reiterate that again. So, I feel like the amount of success that Saquon had last year with the Giants is one of the reasons why they went to the playoffs. Yeah. So, but I also was a strong advocate for Lamar Jackson not playing until he got paid, because he got hurt. And because Saquon has this injury history, it'd be different if he's not a running back who hasn't, had these different injuries prior. So I think that when he says, I will sit out week 1, I see him being very serious about that, especially because he has had past injuries. You never know what can happen in training camp. Like, I know that he's training and we're seeing all the videos of all the great things that he's doing. But, I mean, that doesn't really mean anything. You can do one thing and it can ruin your whole entire season. So I feel like, and maybe this is me, right? I feel like running backs, when you look at that type of security, you can't play with that. You can't be like, well, I'm going to sit out and then maybe, wait till I get paid. I don't feel like running backs can do that, because pay Saquon, he's working. I feel like running backs can't do that because they're putting miles on themselves. They're risking themselves for injury. And every year, I mean, the best running backs, we got Isaiah Pacheco in the 7th round.
Yeah.
He'll probably be a top 6 running back.
We got Tyler Algier in the 5th round and 1,000-yard running back. So again, it's that's why I said earlier, it's we understand that running backs have a short lifespan. We understand that they're not in the league long because they're popping up. But here's got a little thing, and I had to look it up really quick. But Derrick Henry is making $16 million. So what's going to be the number that Saquon is going to want? Are we talking $20 million, $21 million, $22 million? Like, what is the number? And that's the issue that we have, because you can't give him the same contract as a Derrick Henry. So what number are we really, is he really looking at when it comes down to it?
I can't see anyone paying like 20 plus mil to a running back. Like, we're not in that era anymore. The last time you saw that big contract was with Zeke, and you saw how that worked out. Cowboys. And the thing is, like, like I was telling someone a couple weeks ago, is that running backs just aren't valued like that. It's a passing league now, and it's a shift now. So people are going to say, yeah, it's great to have that staple back, but we just only named 3 teams that have these staple backs now, when there's 32 teams in the league. So that tells you, like, the value is not really high. And nor do I see someone be like, you know what? Yeah, come on, Saquon. Like, we're going to go ahead and give you 25 just because we really like you. And you're great. Like,
and that's taking a huge risk. And that's a risk.
How the league has changed in the last few years. I mean, I would say the Cowboys did it first, going with the 1-2 punch at running back. So that way you're not putting as many miles on there. And by doing that, Tony Pollard became a dog. And you see a lot of teams kind of starting to inherit that. That's something the Chiefs has done as well with McKinnon and Pacheco. A lot of teams are starting to pick up that 1-2 punch at running back. So if you're doing that, I don't need to pay you more than $15 million. I don't need to pay you $13 million if we're going to be transparent. And I'm not paying you 10, and I'm not drafting before 4th. So whatever you want to do.
But here go the thing. Nick Chubb got $14 million. So again, when we're talking about this. But that's the thing. So now we gotta weigh those options, because you're gonna have.
Well, he doesn't have the injury history that Saquon has.
There we go. And that's what a lot of people are arguing right now about him. So we're gonna see how this plays out, though. No lie. I'm really gonna be watching that.
I was just waiting for E to chime in with her statistically speaking, technically speaking. Like you knew it was coming. She's about to hit you with the numbers.
We're moving on from the running back conversation because I know we're gonna have that all year round. So next is this T hot or not, which is actually really funny. Will Dak have playoff success this year?
Oh, let me. Please let me. Put me in.
Go ahead.
You're in.
I'm gonna say this is not T. So Dak is 2-4 in the playoffs, right? That's his record. Here's his numbers: 63% completion percentage, under 260 yards a game. He's only scored 1 touchdown in 4 out of the 6 games he's played, and 5 interceptions. So, with that being said, Dak is exactly who we thought he is. I need y'all to realize that. He's exactly who we thought he is. I need Jerry Jones to also realize that and come up off of this, like, Dak is our guy. He's going to take us to the promised land. And as someone says that, Dak is mid, is what Good Guy Jay says. And someone else said lower than mid. Wow. But my point being is that this is, we have this conversation, nearly every season, right? Are the Cowboys going to do? Are they going to get back to glory? And they just don't. Dak is great during the regular season, but he disappears during the playoffs.
Every single
as a result, the team goes as he goes. Unless they have, a vaunted, I'm going to say, top defense in the league, maybe it gets them a little further. But then my question is still, what is Dak going to do? Does Dallas believe that Dak is going to bring them a Super Bowl ring? I think they try to tell themselves
they wholeheartedly believe that.
They believe that on the outside. Let me say that
they got rid of Kellen Moore.
The clock is ticking on Dak, right? Like the window is closing.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, Cowboys fans. Like, you got to look yourselves in the mirror and say, okay, this is not the answer for us, and I don't think that that's going to happen. And say also, before I end, 2024 would be a prime time to go get you a quarterback, because you got Drake May and Caleb Williams coming, and you could do some voodoo magic to get yourself there to find a quarterback.
Yep. I was just praising Jesus, because that's who they're gonna have to rely on. Because again, I think at this time, we've seen enough. I mean, they rolled with Tony Romo for so long because that was Jerry Jones's guy. But we already knew what we saw from Tony Romo. I think we're at that stage now that this is it. This, like, you're it's almost kind of like, okay, it's playoffs or you gotta go. Because again, as we were saying earlier about the contracts, they just paid Dak all of that money, and they were expecting things. I do agree. I do believe, and this is just my theory, that Jerry, the reason why it took so long for that contract, I don't think Jerry really believed in him. I think that was Steven trying to push his dad and let him know, like, hey, pay this man because we don't have it.
I think it was
you think Steven didn't want to pay him?
Correct.
See, yeah. But see, I can see it from both ends. I can see it from both ends of the spectrum.
Jerry just be loving people, and they be family, and he hold on tight to them, and that's his son, and this, that, and the third. Which is why
Mr. Clap a lot. He held on to Mr. Clap a lot.
Don't do Jason Jerry. I love
Mr. Clap a lot.
I love Jason Jerry. It's Jerry Jones who's driving the bus, right? Like, he's the one who's pushing for them to continue to keep Dak. And to that point, I think that there really is some dissension between him and Steven about what's the future of the Cowboys and who needs to lead it. Because, again, to that point in the comments, Tony Romo was there. You didn't get much out of him. Or when I say much, in terms of Super Bowl rings, of course. Yeah. And then you got Dak right behind him.
Jazz. Jason Garrett's ass too. By the way, follow her on Twitter. That's my girl.
Shout out to Jazz. But the thing is, though, right? Like, you have these 2 quarterbacks back to back who have not produced what you need now. So how long is the leash? Is what I ask. Yeah. How long are you going to let this go on?
So I have a few things to say. So one, they are all in on Dak. They got rid of Kellen Moore. So that was really, really interesting to me, because as much as the Cowboys do not like Kellen Moore, the Cowboys always put a ton of points on the board every game. Well, majority of their games. Yeah. And they've always had somewhat a top 10 defense, right? So does it come down to Dak or does it come down to Kellen? Even though people think they don't have this great relationship, they were putting points. I think it's bigger than that. I think it's coaching. I think Mike McCarthy is terrible. I think that got rid of. I know that he's under whatever contract he's under right now, so they can't. Is he better than Jason Garrett? By miles, right? But I don't think he is the right person still for the Dallas Cowboys. He's not nearly as aggressive as that team is, as that ownership group is. They're very aggressive. They want what they want. They're going to spend the money. They're going to go get the players. They are still very stupid for getting rid of Amari Cooper. Sorry, Jazz. But it's like they almost have every single piece they need to have to do it. And now they have to deal with the Eagles, who have only loaded their team more since last season. So,
well, and then too, you got to think about it. It's just not about Kellen Moore too. Like you got to understand that they got Dan Quinn over there on defense. How much do they have faith in Dan Quinn's defense? Like, how can it last? Because again, I'll be honest with you, when he was over there with Seattle and had that Legion of Boom, he had those guys rocking and rolling, but those were special type of guys. You can't always produce that same thing. So you got to look at it from both sides of the ball too on that. Like you lose somebody with an offensive mind that is genius in Kellen Moore. I give him that because like you said, they put points on the board. But how much can we trust Mike McCarthy? The last time we see Mike McCarthy call plays, what happened? So again, it's going to be a lot more pressure on Dan Quinn. And I feel like if they don't go far, I feel like he's going to be the scapegoat.
Is good.
I was just about to say it did do pretty well.
And they're going to be better this year.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. But I'm just saying, like, how much faith, if something goes wrong with that offense this year, if we don't see what we need to see from that offense, I just feel like it's going to be Dan Quinn. It's going to be the scapegoat. They're going to find some way to blame that defense.
Man, I'm going to transition because the next part of this hot or not tea is on brand for what we're talking about right now. So, the Eagles, let's stay in the NFC East. Can they go back to back?
Hey, AK baby.
Can they go back to back? Can the Eagles go back to the NFC Championship game, Super Bowl this year? Is that hot tea or cold tea? Like, what are y'all thoughts?
It's not tea for me.
I don't think I'll be honest with you. The Georgia is like the Georgia Eagles. It's pretty funny. A lot of people don't realize that, like when they drafted now I just went blank.
Probably
not Jalen. Not Jalen Carter. Look, I'm about to call him Jalen Carter. Jordan Davis. When they draft him, they're not realizing that he was a pure nose tackle. Most of their tackles last year on defense came from their veterans. Okay, they lost one this year. Okay, but at the same token, I think that because when people say that the Georgia Dogs, I do love the fact that they did draft. I'm a boy.
Like that was ridiculous.
They really did. I love it, but I just feel like you got to try to put that together. So I don't think the coordinators really I don't think they have an effect on it. Again, the Eagles ran an air raid, kind of so with a conventional air raid in there, mixed in there. So if they can keep that up and play to Jalen Hurts, play to his skill set, because that's what they did. That's what they kind of built that offense around him and kind of built it around his skill set.
And that's what you're supposed to do. So,
but a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't, and some people don't understand that not all coordinators fit. So that's going to be the issue. I don't think that it's going to be a problem with them though, because they have the team to get to where they need to go. The issue is just how quickly can they pick up on minor little things here or there. But I don't think it's going to be a problem for them. Shout out to my Georgia Bulldogs.
I mean, I'll expand on my answer, but I think when you lose your identities there on both sides of the ball, it gets really tough. Not only did they lose both coordinators, they lost a number of players as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's really tough to repeat that success. I could still see them winning games. Obviously, I could still see them, getting a spot in the playoffs, but going deep into the playoffs to get all the way back to the Super Bowl, I might be hard pressed to do that. The other thing is, and and I mean this wholeheartedly when I say this, I want to see what Jalen Hurts does outside of Shane Steichen. So we know that Shane Steichen was a big reason why he had this massive jump from the back half of 21 into 2022. And obviously, I think Jalen Hurts, that is him. He's had a coming, out party, so to speak. But I want to see what he does without Shane. Can he still produce those same sort of numbers? Is he going to be as effective? And the thing is, they promote it from within, so I think you'll still see a lot of the same concepts, things like that. Like, they're not going to overly complicate things. But we've seen it happen more times than not. When staff start getting poached like that, you can't recreate what you had, and you don't have that same sort of success. So I still think the Eagles probably win. We still win like 10 games, somewhere in the plus, whatnot. But I cannot see them, going all the way back to the Super Bowl.
I think I have the Cowboys winning that division. But
I don't know. I think
it's going to come down to like a game, though. Like the Cowboys.
You trust Dak to win the division?
Yeah, I to be honest with you, I think the Commanders going to have something to say about that, because I mean, if they can get Sam Howell rolling, the Commanders really probably can make some noise over there in that division.
They got my guy.
I mean, okay, look,
they're gonna win the division.
Yes, but Sam Howell is who you want having to
win. Hey.
Right.
Like I said,
exactly. I was just
if they can get Sam Howell rolling, watch out for them Commanders. I'm serious. If they can get
Sam Howell, though, like my mind just cannot compute this. Sam Howell to win the division.
It don't wait this side. It don't go like that.
Okay, listen. We here because I'm like, what? Like,
I do think the Commanders are going to be really good this year. Now, granted, they have a ton of internal drama just because the Washington Commanders, whoever they want to be, left hand up, they are a hot mess of an organization. And I think that, until EB is the head coach, they're really not going to take over the way that they need to. Mm-hmm. But like Jazz said, I was actually going to get to it. There has not been a repeat winner in this division.
No.
Now, that doesn't mean that the Eagles can't break that this year, but I have the Cowboys winning. I don't have them going to the NFC Championship, but I do have them winning the division. So
this is nasty work. I don't like it. It's a no for me, dog.
All right, so more hot tea, cold tea. Tell me what your thoughts are. So we got a few quarterbacks who have some contract extensions coming up. Some people who need to get the bag very, very soon. So let's just talk about two quarterbacks: Joe Burrow, Joey B, and Jay Herbert. Justin
Herbert is wild. That is
Joe. Wild. Hey, I call him Jay Hurt. That's what we call him, Jay Hurt. Jay Hurt.
Herbo. You gotta add
Herbo is crazy to me.
That's his name. So we got two quarterbacks who are getting ready to come up and get a bag, right? Jalen Hurts just got the huge contract. Lamar Jackson just got the huge contract. Is this hot tea or cold tea? And what are your thoughts about it?
This is very much hot. It's very much hot because it's already, the questions are already there. Rumor mills around Joey Burrow. If the Bengals don't give him the money, he might want to dip. That's what those rumors are. And then a lot of people don't want to play Mr. Jay Hurd because he hasn't shown or produced a lot. So it's some major questions going around there. I feel like Joey Burrow is probably going to get the bag first, to be honest with you. I feel like the Chargers are going to kind of hold out on Jay Hurd. And I think this will be like the season for him to actually go out there and prove and actually do something. Because if he doesn't, it's going to be very hard to try to, in my honest opinion, to do it. Don't get me wrong. He was 4,000 yards last year. He did 5,000 before. So he can prove that he can play. It's just as we said with Dak, he's good in the regular season, but disappears in the playoffs. And that's where you make your money. That's your money maker right there, is in them playoffs. So I think the Chargers might hold out on Jay Hurd a little bit if he doesn't show something this season. But Joey might go ahead and get the bag. If he can make it to the playoffs and make it back to that Super Bowl, I feel like they're gonna drop some dimes on Joey.
I have so much to say about this topic.
Listen, I'll go so we give you plenty of time. So I just want to put this in perspective in terms of the average number per year, because I think that's what matters the most. Mm-hmm. So I had to pull it up. So Lamar Jackson is paid $52 million a year at this rate. Jalen Hurts at 51, Aaron Rodgers at 50, Russell Wilson at 49, Kyler Murray at 46, Deshaun Watson at 46, and Pat Mahomes at 45.
That's down to 7. Love that.
Yeah. So that's your top guys. Now, I mean,
amount of money.
Pat also has a $450 million contract. I just, want to put that out there.
He's also
putting it in perspective.
Yeah, look, and wait, hold on. Tell her about that cap hit if they decide to move on from him.
Now, y'all know we're not moving on from. We know we took a $46 million cap hit this year, and it was all worth it. It was all worth it.
I'm not saying it's not worth it. I want to put in perspective, but I put it in that perspective because then that tells you whether or not you want to pay these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Now, in my mind, Justin Herbert, even though he's a great quarterback, I don't think he deserves the deal yet. I haven't seen enough from him yet to meet. But we all know this is a what have you done for me lately? We need to secure a franchise quarterback league, so he's going to get paid regardless. Now, having said that, though, Joe Burrow is a different situation. I consider him in the top, echelon of the quarterbacks in the league. I do think he's going to get paid heavily and mightily, with no hesitation. That Bengals franchise hasn't seen the good since before Joe Burrow, and it's been a minute. They had been highly disappointed for several years with Andy Dalton at the helms, even though they believed in Andy Dalton. And so when
leave the ginger alone. I liked the ginger when he first came to the Bengals.
I got no quarrels with Andy Dalton. I'm just, he didn't meet up to what they've been wanting. So Joe Burrow came and injected some life into that team. And since then, they've been on a tear that I think even most Bengals fans were kind of shocked about because, they chirp a lot now because they've got Joe Burrow. Hey, Jody, I'm giving you your segue now. But this is what you want to think about in terms of like, okay, hey, if we're going to pay you, how do we want to put it, what numbers do we want to put up against? And I would start with your per year average and go from there.
Yep, exactly.
So the Chargers need to fire their head coach. He should have been fired after that playoff loss last year in Jacksonville. He should not have a job this year. I'm actually really surprised. I'm not really surprised he has a job because they got to the playoffs. So because they got to the playoffs, that's why he has another year. But I also fully believe that is why they brought Kellen Moore in. They're going to let him take over all of that play calling. And I actually really, really, really like Herbert and Kellen Moore together. I think that's a really good dynamic duo. Okay. I think it's going to take them a few games to kind of click and get in sync. But I think that duo together is really, really good because, like I said, Kellen Moore knew how to get points on the board in Dallas. And in the AFC West, you kind of have to put at least 30 points up a game to do anything.
So look, her said way.
But with that being said, Joe Burrow is definitely going to get the bag. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but last season, the Bengals were bought out. They kind of did what the Chiefs did a few years ago. They were just bought out by a bank so they can inherit all this money, so they can go out and pay all of these players. They're also going to finally, for some odd reason, because I don't understand why they didn't have one before, have a closed-in practice facility because they've been practicing outside. I'm like, do you know that you're in Ohio and it snows a lot there? So I don't understand what y'all have been doing for years, but okay. But I definitely think Joe Burrow is going to get paid. However, I think he is going to be one of the last quarterbacks to get paid because I think out of everybody who deserves to be paid, he should probably be the highest paid. So that's my hot take. I think Justin Herbert will get paid before Burrow. And then Burrow is going to be like, I want, $3 million more or this much more guaranteed. And then, I'm a happy-go-lucky person. And I still very much hate the Bengals and the Chargers. They can both go to heck. All right. The last topic. Hi, Amanda. The last topic of is this tea hot or not? I added this one in last minute. Sorry, y'all, because it was really dear.
Hi, baby. Hi, Amanda.
Thank you, Twitter. We miss you. But this one is near and dear to my heart for several reasons, even though I was avoiding Twitter today. Quinnen Williams got the bag.
He did.
He got the bag today. So 4-year, $96 million. What are your thoughts on is this tea hot or not? Why is this such a great move for them?
It is hot tea.
It really is.
Major bag alert. So Quinnen Williams is now the second highest paid defensive tackle in the league behind Aaron Donald in terms of the average per year. Aaron Donald also got a 3-year deal worth $95 million, so that kind of puts it in perspective for him. But here's the thing with Quinnen Williams. It's the largest guarantee in franchise history. He was a top 5 D tackle in the league last season. Also, he had career highs in sacks with 12, quarterback hits was 28, tackles for loss was 12.
Yeah.
Jets also had a top 5 defense that was anchored by him. This was inevitably going to happen. This is your quarterback of your defense. Now, the one thing the Jets are going to do is they're going to draft some defensive players. They might not have offense. They're going to draft some defense. Like, it's going to happen. They're going to groom some defensive players. And so I think this was a no-brainer move for them. I think the thing that really shocked me more than anything is that the guarantee, the guarantee was high. So, again, it's the most in franchise history, which says to me, like, hey, you're going to be here for the long haul. We are building around you, and we believe in you. Now, what worries me about the Jets in this move is that, okay, you went and got Aaron Rodgers as well.
Yeah.
All right. So
they went and got a lot of people.
Right. You're investing a lot of capital on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
For essentially your quarterbacks on both sides of the ball. What are you going to have to show for at the end of the season? And funny thing and enough is that they're going to be on Hard Knocks this season. So we will get to see all of this unfold in real time, and whether or not being on Hard Knocks has an impact on you. And I really think that the Jets, they are trying their hardest to put this team back together, so to speak. Like and when I say that is that they have been trying to weave this team into something that is sustainable for several seasons now.
Yeah.
And I think that they're just now kind of figuring out that sort of thing. In my mind, like, Aaron Rodgers is a stopgap. I don't care what anyone says, like, a stopgap. But at least on this side, you got your defense shored up for the long haul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree. Wrong with, I'm sorry, but there's nothing wrong with having your quarterback on both sides of the ball. You need that guy that's going to lead that defense in through in and throughout. So, I mean, if they know that they can be locked into him, I haven't looked at the details of his contract yet, because when I was looking, it hadn't all came out yet. But I mean, it really just depends on like what that guaranteed money is and what the breakdown is through the 4 years, because they could have an option to restructure in year 4 and just kind of whatever else happens. So, I mean, you never know what's really going to happen on that side. I have more thoughts, but I'm going to let you go first, because I'm going to talk about my team selfishly after this. But go.
No, I mean, again, as someone who hasn't had a defense since John Abraham, Falcon fans already know what we did this season too. Shoring up our defense and giving somebody on the other side of Grady. I mean, that's the best move that you can do. A lot of people don't realize, like, defenses still win championships. You can, even though we already know, like you said, the quarterback of the defense, you're going to have that. And then, they went out and got young players like Sauce Gardner back there to solidify that secondary. So, yeah, the Jets are finally coming to where they need to be. And this is just for them to be able to, solidify. I agree. I'm a defensive girl anyway. So anytime I see the defensive shine, I'm all for it, because I believe that every team should have that monster person on defense, and he fits that mold for them. I mean, but let it be selfish for you, but I'm gonna say selfish for me. We got that in Grady Jarrett, okay? Grady Jarrett, like, Grady Jarrett was mad last season. He said every season it seemed like the same old thing. Guess what Terry, Arthur, and Uncle Blake went to go do? Let's go get some players, because we finna lose somebody. So again, this is how you shore up your defense to make sure that you have that for a long haul, because again, we don't have Aaron Donalds coming out of college every day, okay? You don't got a Jordan Davis or a Jalen Carter or even a Will Anderson coming out every single year when it comes down to it. So, yeah, I think this is a great move. Again, I'm with Jody. I want to see the breakdown of how they're going to do it. Or is it back end heavy when it comes down to his contract, or did they front end load it, which it should be front end loaded, so you don't have to worry about it on the back end later on down the line. Browns, I'm looking at you, but go ahead, Jody.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Browns. For me, I'm very, very happy that he finally got paid. Chiefs Kingdom has been waiting for this guy to be paid for the last few months, honestly, because we know that Chris Jones wants to be the second highest paid DE, right? So we know that Veach has been in his kitchen cooking on what this contract is going to look like for Chris Jones. I don't know if y'all watched the ESPYs last night, but Chris Jones thanked Brett Veach first yesterday. So we're all like, ooh, does that mean that it's coming soon? Like, it's coming before training camp, right? Like, he's about to get paid very soon. So and again, off the top of my head, because I'm not looking at those notes anymore, but I believe he got $96 million for 4 years. We just want to get Chris Jones at $100 for 4, which is not that undoable. He is definitely the quarterback of our defense. He leads this defense in and throughout. So we're very happy that this happened. We know Chris Jones's contract's coming. He does not want to leave Kansas City. So thank you so much, Jets and Quinnen, for getting this done. We have been patiently waiting, and we know that his bag will hopefully come before next week, before we get to training camp. So, all right, that is enough of hot or not tea. We hope y'all love that segment. We're going to do it every single week. But now, y'all are on social media every day. I'm on social media every day. I feel like I talk to y'all every day on Twitter, along with everybody commenting in the comments. Thanks for participating with the engagement. But there's been a lot of spicy topics this week. Top 10 quarterbacks, top 10 wide receivers, top 10 tight ends, all kind of drama. So we're just going to make it super simplified today, and we're going to all just talk about who our top five quarterbacks are going into this season. So who wants to go first with your list of who your top 5 is?
Let me go ahead and drop this down really quick. Let me go ahead and shout out. I'm shout out to Desmond Ridder, because he's going to be the whole top 5.
If you're in the comments, tell us your top 5 too, and we'll put them across the screen.
Yes, I'm just being funny, y'all. I don't really mean Desmond Ridder top 5, but no.
Yes, you do.
No, I mean, hey, I'm being selfish when it comes down to it. But no, my homie, he's number 1. We already know. I put Jalen Hurts at number 2. I do believe that he can more than likely kind of give us a little bit more of what we saw last year. Fingers crossed, I did put Joey at number 3. I'm still, again, I want so much for Joe Burrow, because again, I seen what he did at LSU, and I seen how he turned the Bengals around quick, but I do want some more. Really, him and Jalen Hurts are kind of neck and neck, to be honest with you. If we can have a number like, a 2-2, then we'll be fine. But I did put Jay Allen. I know, Jody. I know. I did put Mr. Jay Allen, Mr. Josh Allen. I call him Jay. Yeah, I do. I call him Jay, Mr. Josh Allen.
Jay Allen is crazy.
Yeah, Jay Allen. But no, and then Jay Herb at number 5. Again, like I said, like we were talking about earlier with Herbert, he still has a lot of improvement to do. I do believe that, with Kellen Moore over there, that he can pretty much get better. I mean, we seen him do it. He almost had 5,000 yards last year. He can do it. He just needs the right offensive coordinator, the right plan and everything to be able to do it. So that's pretty much kind of rounded up my top 5. But yes,
I'm sorry, what did you just say? You said Jalen?
No, Jay Herb. I called him Jay Herb.
Okay, I was like, did you say Jalen? Okay, Herbo.
No, yeah. She said Herbo. I called him Jay Herb.
And listen, and I can't.
Y'all in this Jay Herbo is killing me. Like
what? I mean, I really want to call him Herb, but
Jay Herbo is crazy. That's nasty work, honestly. I'll jump in and give my top 5. It's Pat Mahomes, and Pat Mahomes.
LeVon Mahomes the second.
Yes. But no, honestly, it's Pat Mahomes 1, Joe Burrow 2, Jalen Hurts 3, Mr. Josh Allen 4, and then 5 is actually Lamar Jackson, pending that he is healthy. Now, let me put some reasoning behind this list. The upper echelon for me is Pat Mahomes. It is literally Pat Mahomes and then everybody else.
Space. Everybody.
Space yes, definitely some space there. Now, that being said, Joe Burrow is the closest in my mind that you are going to get to Patrick Mahomes type of play. He's also the quarterback that's given Patrick Mahomes the most fits on that front. After that, I would like to see, like I mentioned earlier, Jalen Hurts continue to take the leap. I think he had a phenomenal leap from what people thought he was going to be. He played extremely well, barring when he wasn't healthy. Josh Allen is still in that conversation. Biggest thing for Josh Allen for me is for him to cut down on his turnovers. If he can do that, Josh Allen will be fine. He will be.
And is he healthy? Does he still have a UCL injury? Is that going to affect him?
That is
because them turnovers in the end zone last year really caught him. They really caught him last year.
It's great. I loved it. But finally, Lamar Jackson is my number 5. So, and again, we had this whole offseason saga about will they, won't they? We're waiting on Lamar Jackson. The Ravens need to pay him. There's a reason why there was so much hoopla over Lamar Jackson. He is the epitome of the Ravens franchise going forward. Hey, shout out to you. I like my list too. But the thing is, Lamar Jackson has to be in that conversation because even before the injuries, he was in that conversation. No one even doubted that. So I really feel like he will be back to that. And for the Ravens' sake, I kind of hope that he's back to this upper echelon of play. We need that play. We need those, those good teams. And I'm loving that I'm seeing all these lists in the comments for it.
Shout out to Simba with T-Law. Shout out
T-Law. Yeah, I was gonna say I saw the T-Law conversation.
I can't wait to start my list. I can't wait.
Can't wait. Bart Scott.
That is crazy.
Hey, I know you remember that.
Oh, that is so cool.
Thank you. I'll be here all night. Thank
you. Are you done? No, I'm kidding.
Wow. All right.
It's
Listen,
okay.
This is just nasty work. I thought we were friends. I thought we were cool, but now I see she was like, "Listen, I'm tired of you. Are you done with it?"
I'm older than you, barely.
Wow. And we have the same birthday. That's how you treat me? Like,
I'm 23, so I don't know this conversation.
Oh,
23.
Okay. Can you finish?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. My top 5 goes. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes II. Number 2, Joey Burrow. It actually goes Patrick Mahomes II, Grand Canyon, Joe Burrow. And then it goes Jalen Hurts, because I feel like he was honestly, after he had that shoulder injury, I can't remember if it was week like 15 or 16. I feel like he was kind of injured all throughout the playoffs, even though he still played really good. Still like he was still kind of battling that injury. So I would like to see what a fresh slate, healthy, recovered Jalen Hurts looks like. Number 4 for me is Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars, because he is going to go insane this year. And then number 5 is Mr. Lamar Jackson. That's my list. I'm excited to see a healthy Lamar. The thing is you said something. What do you say? You know I can't do it at the same time.
I said, are you done yet? Are you done yet?
Right? Are you done yet? But no, I'm really excited to see what a healthy Lamar Jackson with weapons looks like. The Ravens have literally no excuse at all. They have no excuse at all. And yeah, I hope that they go back and listen to this, because Jody is telling y'all that y'all have no reason at all to not dominate in the AFC and the NFL next year, because y'all literally have everything you want. You fired the people you wanted to fire. You brought in the people that you wanted to bring in. Lamar got paid. Lamar is healthy. I expect Lamar to be top 3 quarterback next year behind Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, if he can do that, then the only thing that I, like I said, with the question marks, yes, I love the fact that the Ravens have, the weapons over there. And this is kind of why I kind of pick Herb over Lamar, to be honest with y'all. Sorry, y'all. I like Lamar. I really do. It's just the injuries really concern me. It's like, I need this man to play a whole season. Like, I need to see you at a whole season with weapons. Like, I really want that for him. Like you said, the Ravens have no excuse. They really don't have none whatsoever. So again, I agree. Lamar will be top 3 by the end of the season. Let him play.
He should.
I'm not even gonna say should. I'm gonna say he will be. I'm gonna put that in the air. I'm gonna he need to claim that you're gonna be top 3, because again, you have everything that you need. And I know he's been yelling and lacking ever since Hollywood Brown left, is that he does not have anybody to throw to. I mean, no shade to Mark Andrews, because Mark Andrews is good, but that man had Mark Andrews looking like a Travis Kelce, the number 2 out there, how much he was throwing to him. So again, I love Lamar, but I need him to claim it. I need him to grab it. I need you to, you got to.
All in on it. The only thing I learned from the Ravens last year is I will never draft Bateman on my fantasy football ever again. Ever again. I will never do that ever again. ever.
Look. That's how it goes. Sometimes I be doing that. I think I forgot who. I think I stayed away from my own players. I was kind of mad. The only one I kind of kept on there. No.
I did have Drake London on my bench. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pivot because this is a really great segue. So I want to know what one team in the AFC and the NFC are y'all most excited about this upcoming season? Who's your
Texans? Texans for me.
Texans?
Yep. The Texans. The Texans. I really want to see.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey. What? Look. Y'all division. The only people that. Yeah. We'll talk about your division later on another channel.
Man.
Look. Only reason why is because again, I feel like the Texans are at that stage of where we get to see a brand new team. Yeah. This is the new team that's getting tried out and on the field. You got CJ Stroud, you got Anderson, you even got Dale. Then they went and picked up Jimmy Ward, Hashawn Ridgway, Noah Brown. Like they went out. That only loss that I feel like is probably that we just have to see where everybody's really concerned about is the wide receiver who is CJ Stroud going to be throwing to. D'Amico. Yep, D'Amico. Exactly. So again, I really.
You see that Jackson Falcons. Jets and Falcons. What? They must be Falcons fans. What's happening in here today?
Okay, whoever said whoever said the Panthers, no. Anyway, but no, I am really interested in seeing the Texans for real. The Texans, and then for my NFC, really the Cowboys and Seattle. The only reason the Cowboys, I really want to see how they're working without Zeke and how Brandon Cooks works with them on that, mixed in with CeeDee Lamb, and really if McCarthy's play calling. I really want to see that. But Seattle,
Seattle
is very
Woo!
Yeah. They did some. If y'all really go back and read it, and I read it today, but if y'all really go back and see what Seattle did, y'all are crazy to not want to watch them. I really, my big question mark is, can I get the same Geno Smith that I got last year with these weapons?
I think you will.
That part.
I don't think it's fair to say, and there's a lot of people critiquing Geno, thinking he's not going to be as good as he was last year. And it's like, what is the reason that you think he's not going to be? Like, I think
it's because that was like, that felt like a statistical outlier.
Yep.
Like,
because it came from
his career, right? There was nothing in his career that told you, oh yeah, Geno is about to have a breakout year. Like,
exactly.
No one saw that. So now I think the question is, can he do it again?
And I think he will. He has that wide receiver room that he has now. That defense is still great. He has
and then they still got Chris, but we still got to wait on Jamal Adams and Jordan Brooks to see about their timeline and coming back. Because once they get them two back, oh baby, San Francisco about to have some run for their money. I'm not gonna lie, because
I'm sorry for these fans.
So they can figure out the quarterback.
I'm not worried about them right now. My eyes are on Seattle, and I can't wait. Pete Carroll, it's Pete Carroll, man. He's my second favorite behind Mr. Andy Reid, Big Red. But
Big Red is crazy.
I love Big Red. I love Mr. Andy Reid. But no, I feel like the way Pete Carroll thinks when it comes down to drafting, when it comes down to really like building a team, he really takes pride into that. So again, I feel like Seattle has been very sneaky and quiet. And too quiet for my liking. So yes, I want to watch them this year.
They're the second loudest team in the NFL.
Exactly. The 12th man.
Oh boy. All right. So now I got to follow up behind that. Goodness, my poor little list. All right. So we mentioned it earlier. The Ravens are actually my team in the AFC. So they paid Lamar. He got the bag after so many months. So that was the biggest thing, shoring up the cornerstone of your franchise. But they also got him some help. They got OBJ, which is a really nice deal if he stays healthy. Thank you, Jody. And they also picked up Nelson Aguilar. And oh, by the way, they have about something crazy like 14 wide receivers currently on the roster, which obviously they won't keep all of them, but they've got some weapons.
I don't think I knew that. Really?
I didn't know they had 14.
Yes, they have 14 wide receivers currently on the roster.
6.
But they got quite a bit in this year's draft as well. So some names to keep eyes out for that they picked up. So you've got Rocky Sin on the defensive side of the ball. But on offense, you've got Dobbins, you got Likely, you got Mark Andrews, you got Bateman, you got Devin Duvernay. You got hey, shout out to my Boston folks or Baltimore folks. Whoops. But anyways, Zay Flowers, Andy Isabella, James Prochet was the other guy that I was thinking of. But 14 wide receivers on that roster currently. There's plenty to pick from. So they cannot say that they don't have choices. Now, whether those choices will be productive will be the case here. But I would put it to the
Shout out
Ravens.
to Monken from that Georgia. He gonna look. Shout out to Monken.
I'll say this. With the Ravens, the bigger thing is, will their defense show up and rise up to the occasion? So even last season, they were having some issues where late into games, they were letting teams come back and run all over them. So that's my big challenge to the Ravens. If they can get the offensive side of the ball squared away, of course, keep Lamar healthy and everything else, defense has to rise up to the occasion, because that vaunted Ravens defense that we used to know has been disappearing now for a couple of seasons, and I want to see that back.
Well, I mean, they tried Greg Roman.
Well, yes, true. They made some changes. Again, we'll see what happens with the Ravens. So on the other side, I've actually got the Packers. So with Aaron Rodgers gone now, Jordan Love is in the driver's seat. What will the Packers do? So the thing is, you moved on from Aaron Rodgers with the hope that Jordan Love is the future of the franchise. We had this whole big offseason drama. Okay. It's he said, whatever. And now Jordan Love is the guy. So is it Jordan Love? Is it Christian Watson? Is it A.J. Dillon? Is it Aaron Jones? Is it Romeo Doubs? Is it my guy, Jaden Reed, who tore up the Senior Bowl and who I wanted so badly for my Colts to draft? Is it somebody on that team who can help him rise to the occasion? So I think now the question is, how long will it take for the Packers to come back to that sort of dominance, right? But those are my two teams that I'm most interested in this season. And I didn't go necessarily the excited route because I'm like, there wasn't any teams that I felt like I was super excited about. But these are the two teams I was like, hey, there's some interesting things happening, especially for the Packers. A brand new face of the franchise now, a la, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, in the exact same fashion. Yeah. I want to see what the Packers do. So that's my list.
I'm biased. I'm excited for that's what I said. I'm biased. I'm excited for my Falcons, but I just didn't want to put that on there.
I'm a huge Christian Watson fan. Is that his last name? Yeah.
Yes, Christian Watson.
So if him and Jordan Love can get this connection, because he started blacking out the second half of last season. Yeah. I was just like, oh my God, do I need to put him on my parlay for 2 touchdowns? Like he was getting 2 touchdowns. It felt like. Anyway.
Yeah. The Packers are already good on defense anyway. So I feel like, it's really going to be to sell up that offense. And we finally get to see what Jordan Love really is capable of, why they picked him so high, and why, again, hopefully he was in that quarterback room, ear hustling like it ain't nothing, being that fly on there behind Aaron Rodgers, because that's it's now your go. It's time for you to go.
All the pieces they lost were on offense. So
they lost that. Yeah, they lost a ton. So
I'm not gonna say great. They're gonna be decent. All right. So my list, my 2 teams, I'm gonna start in the AFC, is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I am just all in on Trevor Lawrence. Like,
until they play them, like then she's gonna be all for him.
We played them twice last year. We beat them both, but they both gave us hell both games. And technically, I should hate them, because they're the reason my quarterback's ankle was hurt last year. So I should hate that defense. However, I'm really excited about Jacksonville just because they did a lot this year. Not only is Trevor Lawrence going to be in year 2, I think that because he had such a great season last year, he kind of has what that experience looks like. And he went and won a game in the playoffs after being behind 27-0. So if anything, the boy has nothing but confidence. If the boy can win a playoff game coming down 27, go to Waffle House with his team, I'm behind that kind of guy. That's my type of guy that I want to support. Yeah. But I mean, they did a ton of pickups this season. They got Dearness Jones, they got Evan Ingram, they got Josh Wells. They did lose Jawan Taylor. Thank you. And they got Marvin. They lost Marvin Jones. He went to Detroit. So, they definitely made some adjustments on both sides of the ball. But I still think that they're just going to pick up right where they left off. They are going to have a tougher schedule this season because they did make it to the playoffs. So I am interested to see how he handles adversity and how that team does with adversity. But Dougie P is that guy. And he comes from the Andy Reid branch. So, I mean, you can never you can never not take him seriously. I know that he's still going to be able to deliver and create some amazing play calls for that Jacksonville team.
Yeah. Shout out to Calvin Ridley. I need my second round pick.
Yeah. Him too.
Shout out to Calvin Ridley. I need my second round pick. Okay, go ahead.
My NFC team is the Bears. Man, I am all in on Justin Fields. All in on Justin.
They finally got some offensive help over there.
Got that man, maybe an offensive line. I guess
maybe it's crazy.
Now it's maybe.
I guess we'll see what happens once the actual season starts. But they did make a lot of they spent a whole bunch of money this offseason. They went out and got Ryan Poles this offseason, which shout out to Black GMs because that is very rare. And then, I mean, they got DJ Moore, they got Tremaine Edmonds, dog. They got they lost TJ Edwards. He went to the Bills. They did get Devonta Foreman. So, I mean, and they got, what's his name? Tonyan from Green Bay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know how I'm ready with that. Yeah, anyway, the Bears, I'm really excited to see what they're going to do this season because I definitely think that they are going all in on what is next for them. Now, do I have them winning their division? Absolutely not. But I do think they're going to get more than like 7 or 8 wins this year. And I think that's all that
who you got winning the North?
I don't know yet. I haven't done my breakdown for everything.
She's just like, ooh, 8 wins sounds great. Ooh, I don't know.
That's why I asked. I'm like, who's going to win the division?
So I was supposed to do my breakdown of every division already. Like they already sent me the app and said, fill this out and just know your predictions for every team going into. I ain't did it yet, and I know that training camp is next week. I've been busy. I ain't had time. I'm gonna do it yet. I don't know who I have in this division yet, but I definitely think the Bears. I have a bet with somebody right now, and this is a very hot take. It's a Chiefs fan. It's my twin. I won't say his name, but I bet him that the Bears will have more wins than the Browns this year.
Oh Lord.
That's why I say I believe it. I don't believe in Deshaun Watson.
That's my hot take, and I'm gonna stand beside it.
Yeah, I do. I don't believe in Deshaun Watson. So there's that. Do I think that he was great when he was with the Texans? Absolutely. Is he going to be great with the Browns? We'll see. They're a terrible franchise. So I just really don't know. Thank you for taking my bet. Somebody likes my bet. But no, I'm all in on the Browns this year. I'm excited about them. I think that they're definitely making the strides that they need to make to become the franchise that they want to be. And they're getting ready to move their stadium from where they are now in the South Loop out to like the suburbs. So yeah, I think that's crazy. So interesting.
Yeah, sometimes they say they like that bet. Oh wow.
It's a terrible bet.
Terrible bet.
Fine, but I still think that we'll see. I got my bet it's screenshot in my phone, and Twin knows what's up. Me and him probably have like actually 3 or 4 bets this season, but it's all right. So let's get into this very last topic because we have been here for 1 hour and 2 minutes. So I have failed at my job today.
We had so much to talk about, though. We had so much to talk about.
We had a whole bunch of topics, but it was good. It was good.
Yes, good.
Really, y'all follow, subscribe to the YouTube page. But let's get into it. Way too early MVP for this season. Who is your?
I want Jody to go first because I want her to shut down the room with this. I want her to go first.
So you know that I live in the state of Texas, and you cannot gamble in the state of Texas. I am from the state of Missouri, where you also cannot sports bet. So I had to drive around the state line to Kansas. Okay, it was only 15 minutes. Drove to Kansas and put my MVP sports bet for the 23-24 season in. Put $25 on it too. Really excited. Trevor Lawrence. I have Trevor Lawrence winning the MVP this year. I'm all in on T-Law. Maybe it's the hair. Maybe it's the eyes. Maybe it's him and his cute girlfriend. Maybe it's sunshine. I don't know what it is. But I definitely think Trevor Lawrence is going to deliver this year, and he's really just going to. I'm actually excited about a lot of year 2 people on all sides of the ball this year, and he's one of those people I'm most excited for. So I definitely think he will be. Thank you.
Thank you.
I definitely think Trevor Lawrence is going to win MVP this year, so that's my hot take.
Okay. Look,
hey, Jazz, block me back. Just block me back. It's fine.
He got Walter Payton Man of the Year. That was his MVP. It's hard to get that too, by the way.
All right.
It's real hard to get that. I voted for Patrick Mahomes like 28 times, and I was like, I don't know how else to do this. Like, I'm not doing a good job. But
So since you said Trevor Lawrence, I also said Trevor Lawrence without knowing that you were going to say Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry, E. But I said it for these reasons. If you've been watching Trevor Lawrence since last season, then you know he was on a tear from week 9, and he only trailed Joe Burrow and Mr. Patrick Mahomes II in touchdowns, interceptions, completion percentage. Trevor Lawrence was playing at an MVP level. There is no way the Jags win that game against the Chargers. They had no business winning that game against the Chargers because it was a hot mess express that Trevor Lawrence admittedly created, but he
How many turnovers did he have that game on top of that?
I don't know, like 6. But
it was 6.
The point being is that he brought that team out from what was almost insurmountable at that point. I'm not going to lie to you. At halftime of that game, I said, okay, Chargers, all right, here's your win. You squeaked your way into the playoffs. All right, cool. And then Trevor Lawrence said, absolutely not. I got this. Everybody calm down. We're about to win this. And he fulfilled what he came to do. Now, the thing is, what made the difference for Trevor Lawrence was Mr. Doug Peterson. That was the massive difference for Trevor Lawrence. You could see them. I mean, they were trying all last season to get him there. And finally, the lights came on week 9. And he took off from there. It's a big difference from when you have Urban Meyer coaching you versus Doug Peterson coaching you. And Trevor Lawrence has responded gloriously. So I say to you, Mr. Lawrence, please go out and get your MVP because we know it is sitting there waiting on you.
He's definitely due for it, which is funny because you would think it would be Joe Burrow. And I need to go look back at what the betting odds are because technically, it should, Joe Burrow is really in line to be an MVP, right? But I'm just more impressed, and this is not biased. I'm more impressed with Trevor Lawrence and just what his game has been like, especially that back half of the season and through the playoffs, just very impressive. So
he looks like she's so disgusted with us.
She is. It's okay.
And the crazy thing is, we didn't even talk to each other about this beforehand, so I had no idea.
Actually,
look. I'm gonna just stick with my normal, and I'm gonna drop my mic on this. Okay. I mean, he was on the cover of Ebony magazine and everything. No, I'm just playing. No, but I actually gonna give it to Jalen Hurts. I do.
Okay.
The only reason why is because again, no, it's not because I the thing is I feel like this. We thought that he was a bust from 2001. Correct. I mean, not 2001. Look, girl, we are throwing this man back. He wasn't probably even born yet. No. But we thought he was a bust from 2021. Yes. He came out and showed us hey, no, I'm not. Then he just had this miraculous, spectacular season. I mean, honestly, he was right there behind Patrick Mahomes in completion percentage. He was right there. I mean, he had more rushing achievements. Most of last year. Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like if he comes out with the same fire, with the same passion, and he comes out week 1 all the way up to even possibly the playoffs, again, I don't think Jalen Hurts is finished yet. I don't think that I think last year was just a little trailer preview. I think this year he's really going to show because I think when you're in the Super Bowl, you get hungry. I don't know what the Super Bowl does to people, but we're going
to the playoffs. We're going to
the Super Bowl. Exactly. And once you're in there and once you're literally that close, he probably watched that Super Bowl so many times and realized where his mistakes were. I feel like that's the Jalen Hurts that we've seen. And again, I've seen him play at Alabama. I've seen him come in and beat us, and then come back and get sick, but then go to Oklahoma and do the same thing. So this man is not done. So I really believe way too early right now though to tell, but I'm gonna give that to Jalen Hurts. I really am. I like Trevor Lawrence. Don't get me wrong. I like Sunshine. Just hope he, helps Calvin really ball out. But I do believe that if not, then I can see Trevor Lawrence. I give him that. I mean, he's done a spectacular job. But Jalen Hurts, that's just where we're gonna be.
My just take is Jalen Hurts was the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Ooh.
That is my because
I think he was. I think he would have been
lights out the whole entire game until that fourth quarter. He was dominating the damn game.
He was making plays. He was making plays that you thought that I believe that any other quarterback in that situation weren't going to be able to make. Like he was making plays in that Super Bowl. To be honest with you.
And for me, it was just Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes. But Jalen Hurts led that team. He drove that team. Now, there's a lot of just drama back and forth between Eagles and Chiefs fans. Well, players. Not even players on social media talking about the fields and things like that. But Jalen Hurts, he was just very focused. He was clear-minded. He was determined. And he led that team, again, until the fourth quarter when it all kind of really started to fall apart. I was like, damn, we're down 10 in the Super Bowl. This is great.
Yeah. I agree. I didn't heard from some Chiefs fan and even from some Eagle fans where they thought like, okay, we're right here. We're right here. So again, give that man that same passion going into here. Like I said, whatever it does with the Super Bowl, it makes you hungry. And
he got the bag.
Hey, shout out to his agent too. I forgot her name. Yes. Like that's why I said, like, shout out to her because again, I love her. I love her for doing that, and I think she even got somebody else. Who was that else? She got
Quinnen Williams.
Yeah, Quinnen Williams. So that's 3. Yeah. So shout out to her.
Well, shout out to her. Signed to that agency. I don't know if y'all
does. I mean, Rich Paul is doing Rich Paul things, and so are his people. So
okay, look,
exactly.
I'm rooting for everybody black for real.
Okay, Issa Rae.
Oh, Will Anderson, absolutely.
Okay, so it's Will Anderson. Okay, thank you.
This man just got drafted and he getting what?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, it was somebody that just got drafted. I couldn't think of the name, but yes, Will Anderson. Yes, shout out.
I like the Jalen Hurts pick. I think that he needs to. Okay, if the Eagles can win the division again, he might win MVP.
He might.
Yeah.
Because the Eagles, because that NFC hasn't repeated since 2002.
Yep.
So if he can go and lead that team again, and even if he performs the same exact way as he did last year without missing that game due to an injury, I can see it. I can definitely see it. So
yep.
Well, those are all of my topics for y'all, ladies. Man, great episode 1. Like what?
Exactly.
Hey, listen, like I told y'all earlier, thank me later for this idea,
Exactly. Thank Meg. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't. But matter of fact, thank us for not even paying attention to the freaking time.
I'm hungry.
I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't look to see that we had gone over an hour, honestly.
Yeah, we're at 1:12. You said between an hour and an hour and 10, and I said we're not going over an hour.
Well, and here we
are. There we are.
And shout out to all the people in the comment section too. Y'all been rocking it out. We appreciate you for that.
Yes, I love it. Keep that energy up for us because again, at the same time, this came on a whim. To be perfectly honest with you, we were literally chilling at Southern Kitchen and Buckhead. Yes, Jody came out. Visit. Meg kind of got on us because we were never on time to anything. And we were just literally sitting down, having a conversation, just talking like, regular conversation, talking about further.
Over mimosas.
Exactly. But girl, I forgot what all we had on that table at that time, to be honest. We had a lot. Yes. And, one of the waiters overheard us talking and was just like, oh my God, are you guys in sports? You this, because she had a dream to actually work with sports. So just to even have that, Meg came with us and said, look, y'all, why don't we do this? Why don't we, take this off of Spaces, off of Twitter, and actually do this and make it something catchy for us. And that's kind of why we're here. We have a love for sports. Especially football. My front porch is literally football. Like I literally have Georgia on one side and the Falcons on the other side. I have a football porch. So when you walk up, all you see nothing but football.
To you and anybody who comes to your front door.
Yes,
you might hear a few WNBA takes from me and Meg.
Yes. And
she covers the Atlanta Dream. So you might get a few, especially as we get into playoffs here coming.
Yes, exactly. And then the Braves are my team, and they're the number one team in baseball.
This, talk about our Royals.
Yes.
It's real bad. We down bad over here. It's okay though. I got another bag. They call the Rangers.
Yeah, exactly. So, you're going to see a lot from us. I'm a fantasy football guru. So is Meg. Jody's probably going to take some picks. I think she's in like 10 leagues this year. But, that's something that, we all have a niche and we all came together of what we like and different things. So this is how you got us. It's the sports tea, baby. We got to sip and drink and look cute. You already know. Thank you, Dick. Yes, go Braves, baby. Go Braves.
Oh my God, close us out so I can go eat dinner.
Yes. Oh my good Lord. Yes, close us out, Eve.
All right. No, good. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We really, really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, our Twitter. We even are on IG. We're going to make some more social media as the time goes on. Exactly. So make sure you catch us in your lovely Twitter spaces. Make sure you catch Jody on her Kingdom Queens. So you can see her, catch Meg on her podcast. And then you can catch me with Red Zone, Enter the Lab as well. So yes, we're all doing our thug thizzle out here. And we'll see.
We have so many podcasts.
We really do. But catch us next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Yes, for Jody.
Good job, both of you. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all.
Bye.
So talk to me nice.
Keep it cute.
Because I'll keep it fabulous.
And that's
the tea.